Are you hurting yourself, keeping your hurt inside, keeping your hurt unheard? Are you hurting yourself to try to control your hurt, to try to compress it into something less than what it is because of what it might mean if you really did feel this deeply, if you really were in so much pain? How much are you suppressing what you're actually hurting from in order to just keep things going? I want you to know that it is a very, very vulnerable thing to feel hurt. And it's a very vulnerable thing to be heard in your hurt. The only way you will truly heal from this hurt is if you are heard. This need to be hurt, this need to be heard is important, and it is valid. No matter how much you may think, no, I don't need this. No, it's okay. I can deal with this. It doesn't even really matter. No matter how much you may try to minimize this, you can't really ever stop yourself from needing to be heard, needing to be seen, needing your hurt to be acknowledged. It's kind of like the need for water. You can't ever convince yourself that you don't need water, and if you do, you'll just get thirstier and thirstier and more dry and more desperate. So we need to treat our emotional needs in the same way as much as we would treat a physical need. I just want to be able to speak from my heart, to share with you my own experience of suppressing myself and put a light into your own path of where you might be held back by the similar fears as I had, and still do. Being heard in the hurt place. So I was in a relationship where I had no idea how to really be honest with what I was feeling, truly feeling. Anytime there was some kind of upsetting thing, I just shut it down. And I was embarrassed of it. And something I was really embarrassed of was my envy and jealousy. Like this intense feeling that would come over me every time the person I was with was giving attention to something else, even to a dog. And I just felt this crazy sense of heat and fire and anger and insecurity. And I didn't know what to do with it, and I was so ashamed of it that I just kept putting it away, putting in my logic with, that doesn't even make sense. How could you be jealous of a dog? It's a dog. You're a human. Stop overreacting like this. And I used that logical reasoning mind to keep invalidating what I was feeling. And it was so painful to just live in that really extreme suppressed state where I could not let this embarrassing thing be seen by him. And those feelings just started to grow and grow. And I remember one night where there was just such an intense accumulation of hurt feelings that I knew that it had rotted the relationship. There was nothing more to salvage here because my sense of trust and my even love for this person had just completely been destroyed because all of these secret feelings that were festering inside of me. And yet I was so stuck because I was so stuck because I still felt like in order to even break up with him, I would need to state my why. But I was so embarrassed of my why that it kept me locked in this place of staying in the relationship. But it was just coming to such an intense place of me and my resistance to my truth and what it would mean if he saw me as this person who's this jealous, insecure, embarrassing person. And I was really locked in with, I couldn't let that happen. But in choosing to not tell the truth of this, and in choosing to try to maintain some semblance of, I don't know, what I was hanging on to, the sense of, no, I'm not that insecure, I'm fine, you know. I don't know if it's status or something, but that holding on and not surrendering to the truth was pure hell. And it literally manifested into a panic attack. And this night, I had been working myself up to tell him the truth. And yet there was an equal force fighting me to not do it. Interestingly, that night, I just completely passed out, and I had this dream where I met this like divine feminine being, and she came up to me and she just gazed into me so lovingly and told me, "You are beautiful." And that moment of her really seeing into me and telling me that, somehow helped me to recognize that everything that I was feeling and all the ugliness that I felt about myself was somehow, in her presence, not an issue. And she actually saw my beauty. And I think because I was so deeply suffering in my dream, a part of my consciousness came in to manifest as this dream figure to give me the message of showing me, telling me to recognize my beauty amidst so much suffering, that I am worthless because the way that I feel makes me so ugly. So inevitably, to come out of hurting yourself, to keep your hurt trapped because you're trying to preserve some idea of yourself or a version of yourself that's not the full truth of yourself, it requires a sacrifice of a certain facade, a certain idea or a belief about yourself, about being a good person, as someone who would never fill in the blank, and to really own that badness and wrongness. Like, that is taking a step towards your liberation, when you're not keeping yourself in the straitjacket of what you should be, of what you're supposed to be. Like, no, you are everything. You contain the universe inside you. How could we try to fit ourselves in such this narrow definition of someone who only is allowed to look like this, only can feel this, only behaves like this? So to be free is asking of you to burn that down. And be willing to look bad. Be willing to feel bad. Because the truth is, you already do. It feels bad already to suppress your hurt. And to be honest, it will also feel bad to unsuppress your hurt. But one path leads to rotting and stuckness and living imprisoned behind a wall. And the other, pain, is leading you to freedom, leading you into who you truly are. Is leading you into change. That you are not this fixed person, this fixed identity. It's allowing you to move through the cycles and co-create with the universe, with nature, that you are a part of nature. And nature experiences all kinds of different moods and weather. Why should you always only just be a blue sunny day? The first person I needed to be honest with in expressing my hurt, admitting my hurt, was to myself. So I got really sober with the fact that I'm doing this to myself. I am keeping my hurt feelings inside myself, and it's festering and it's growing. And it's become a monster. This monster of pain. And I sat with that, looking into it. Looking into the pain of never really having had the experience of someone like genuinely taking an interest in what I was feeling and helping me to make sense of what I was feeling and helping me to know what to do with it. I was just operating from a very default pattern from childhood, that if there's something hurt going on, if I need to cry about something, this is shameful. And this is nothing to get attention about. It's actually to stop people from looking at me. Like, this is something that will cause me harm if I even do get attention when I'm hurt. And so the way that I coped with the way that my hurt was handled growing up was by doing the same thing to myself as what was done to me. Ignore it, pretend it's not there, put it away. Tell it doesn't belong here. It's shameful. And just in the ways of how it felt as a child to have to do that, to have to put something away, something I couldn't help but feel, kind of created the sense of, oh, because I feel this, it must mean that I'm bad, because I feel this. But no, feeling this does not mean I'm bad. You being hurt does not mean that something is wrong with you. There is a need here that this hurt illuminates. And the things that I had no way of getting these needs met as a child kind of kept being reinforced as an adult, thinking that there's no way I can get these needs met. What were the needs? It was like the need for attention, the need for connection, the need for a caring presence, the need for curiosity, the need to know what can be done to repair this feeling, hurt feeling, so that I can come back to a sense of feeling safe and belonging again. When we ignore the pain, then we miss out on being able to get these needs met. And part of my thing was, I was so sure that if I did voice these needs, I was so sure that these needs would never be able to get met by my partner. actually, that was kind of true. I was right. But in order to protect myself from full out getting that rejection from him, I kept these needs hidden and rejected myself first. But oftentimes, or most of the time, being able to directly speak your needs, own your needs, is a way to really get clarity. Either this person is a yes, I want to meet those needs, or it's a no. And if it's a no, then it's clarity for you to move on and be able to find people who really want to and can. And they're out there, but you have to first acknowledge yourself, acknowledge that you have needs, and know that you are capable of having those needs met by yourself and others. There's really powerful alchemy in simply being present, unconditionally present with the need itself, with the hurt. Like, that's a really important part of simply being in pure, accepting, unconditional presence with it. I know for me, that was what really catalyzed me forward with this, to unshame myself for having these hurt feelings. Because once this present is given, there's just this natural knowingness that arises through that of viscerally experiencing, receiving presence with it, that there's nothing wrong with me, there's nothing wrong with you for feeling this way. It was just the thought and the belief and the judgment about it that was making it wrong. So can you allow yourself to hold this hurt and let it reveal its depth to you without you trying to compress it or make it change, but let it show you. Let it speak to you. Let it transform you. With the wisdom it holds, with the truths it's holding in itself, that will help orient you to a more loving and free place when you are willing to listen to it. I allow myself to acknowledge my truths. I let myself feel safe with my truths of my hurt. And eventually I was able to communicate that with him, to voice myself with him. And that was a really liberating thing to do. But the most important part of it was that I created the sanctuary within myself to accept myself with this. That I wasn't, again, looking to him to let it be okay, but I already created that supreme okayness with myself. That I could hold my hurt in myself, and I could hold it with care and understanding and love. And that was a really important teacher for me of how I wanted to be in relationships going forward. That I wouldn't hold things to myself anymore. That I wouldn't try to keep pretending I'm the cool, chill girlfriend, who's just okay with everything. Like that was not the truth of me at all. I actually really like that in my current partner, that he sees me as someone really high maintenance. And that was something in my past that I never was. I was the complete opposite. I'm always like, oh no, I don't need anything. But more and more as I kept owning my hurts and owning my truths and being able to voice them, more and more I realized, oh my God, no, I'm such a needy baby. And I love it. And he loves it. He loves that I'm so honest about it, and he's so down for it. And it's the right alignment. But I could never have gotten to this place unless I really, really, really practiced letting it be okay that I am this way. And owned my hurts like it's this precious pearl that I'm here to love and adore and understand and sit with and care for. Can you let yourself hear your hurt deeply with compassion, unconditionally?